So I have had a lot of people over the last couple of weeks ask me about my towers. And I know that each tower I've done, I have done a little bit of a video about it, you know, while I was setting up the turbine that was going to go on top of it. But I'm not sure if I've actually done one specifically about the towers themselves. And this is one of the things that I want to focus on, this material here. This is used oil-filled casing, and that's what I make a lot of my stuff out of. Not just my towers. I use this stuff for a lot of different things. This is used oil-filled to you know what? I'm not going to BS about that. I don't know exactly what it's used for. I know that it's half the time that I buy it, it's called casing. And then half the time I buy it, it's called drill stem. What I assume is that the pump is at the other end of the stuff, and that's what they use for the pipe for crude oil and stuff. But I don't really know for certain, and I've never actually been interested enough to find out. I just know that I can get 30-foot sticks of the stuff for $40 to $50 a piece. So that's what I use. It ends up being resold after it's used in the oil field for a lot of different things, primarily fencing material like this. Up in my area, there are miles and miles and miles of these pipe fences, and that's what this stuff is made out of. This is used drill pipe, oil field pipe. And then you also see it used here in buildings. That's how my shop is actually framed out. It's oil field casing, drill stem, whatever you want to call it. This is all 2 3/8 stuff, and that's actually what I normally use. Out in this area, we call them pole barns. So that's the stuff that I normally like to look for to make my towers out of. Whenever I started, this tower here just got the washer turbine on it. This is slightly bigger stuff. It's about 3.5 inches in diameter, and that was my first one. Don't really like that tower so much because I have to climb up to it with a ladder. It's not fun. This is my second attempt over here, and this one actually hinges down. You can see down there at the bottom there is a stick going through both the pipes. It bolts up to the top of the shop, and I can lower it with a winch. Still a little bit of a pain in the butt because I have to climb up onto the top of the shop, and to do it, it's not fun. This one is the easiest one that I built, and is clearly the tallest. It's about 32 feet. It's a tri-pole tower. Each leg is a full stick of the stuff, which they come in 30 to 32 feet length. So there's some variation. And the base that I have this put on, made out of the same stuff. It's actually worked really, really well. You can see where I started. I actually had this tower tilted up on these T-posts, but it pulled one of the T-posts out of the ground one day. So I replaced it with this frame, welded it all down, and this is how it's worked. I do have videos showing me picking the tower up. If you actually go to my channel and search for videos on my channel, use standing as the keyword, you'll actually see me standing this tower up as well as some of my others. Basically, with this tower, I can pull. It's harder to do one-handed, But this comes out to here. That's about 12 feet. It ties together about 18 feet up. You can see my strap because I haven't climbed up there and undid my strap since the last time I lifted it. And then I have 60 feet of strap. I park my truck way over there. And I can undo my chains. And all I got to do is kind of lift it up with a jack a little bit to tilt it. It's actually really, really stable. It's kind of difficult to get it to tilt over. That's one thing to keep in mind. Like even this 15-foot strip or 20, I don't know how long that is. It is, that's about 100 pounds just by itself. Each one of these sticks weighs about 180 pounds, close to 200 pounds. It's very, very heavy. Each one of these posts at each corner of my base here, the posts go down 6 feet, and they have about 500 pounds of concrete on each one. And that's what holds the whole thing down as best we can. It is, all told, been a very decent tower. The only thing that I've had issues with, obviously, I kind of built the things to go together and then didn't measure stuff very well. Ended up a little bit offset here, but it hasn't caused a lot of problems. The only thing that I am not super happy with is that this tower, it is made in such a way, and it's not necessarily that it's made in such a way. It would do this if the wind came out of any direction, but the prevailing winds that come out of I said prevailing, I don't know, that's not really the right word, I don't think. Whenever a wind blows out of that direction, it blows really, really hard. And I can see this leg over here wiggling. Kind of makes me a little bit nervous. It's one of the reasons why I leave my cantilever here hammered into the ground over there. It just kind of helps put a little force on it to keep it from picking up. But this stuff is pretty sturdy. With the load that I have on top of it, we've got less than 100 pounds up there with that turbine. Blades and tail and everything, it's not terribly heavy, so it doesn't require a lot of bracing. This tower would probably be okay without the 2 sets of braces that I have or 3 sets of braces that I have in the middle. But it kind of keeps it from wiggling around. It is welded all together up at the top and welded together down here at the bottom. I'm looking at putting up another turbine very soon, much bigger turbine, and I'm thinking I'm going to make the tower for it about the same way, except for I'm going to have about a 6-foot spread on the bottom. I'm kind of going back and forth between 3 posts and 4 posts. 4 posts is going to make it really, really heavy. I might have a hard time lifting it with my truck, but be super stable. I think 3 posts would probably still be stable enough to do it. So this is the other thing that I have done. This is an old windmill tower. These are very easy to find. Not often easy or cheap to get, but easy to find. I bought this one. It was a bit of a wreck. It's still not really great. A lot of it is pieced together. I had to replace some of the trusses in it, and that's fine. The frame, the outside of it was solid. Now the Healy that's up there, that is the East Breeze Healy 2.0. That is probably 200 pounds all told, with the stub and everything. Again, not super heavy, but pretty dense. Nowhere near as heavy as the original windmills that were meant to be on top of these towers. So I can climb up there, do a little tinkering and maintenance without too much drama. What I don't like about this tower is that it's not easy to do my work. With my pipe tower over there, I can unbolt it, lay it down with the truck. With this tower, I can't lay it down easily. I think that it probably would lay down if I tried. It lifted it up all as one piece and it wasn't too dramatic. But the thought of bringing it down the same way has made me a little nervous. But this is definitely an option. I would think, actually, if it weren't for the fact that the Healy is just too big for me to take down, for me to really unbolt it from the tower and bring it down. I was able to take the rotor off a couple of times, and I have taken the tail down once, but actually picking that motor up and bringing it down somehow, it's just going to be too much. So I think that one's up there until it's going to be absolutely necessary, and whenever it becomes necessary, I'm going to have to hire a lift to come out and pick it up. I think that if it had an i2000 on it, that would be, you know, a little bit much for a tower for it, but you could at least climb up there and take it off if you needed. It's definitely something worth considering. That's another issue, is that this tower, if you fish around, you can find them cheap. I paid $200 for this tower. And then as far as the legs go, at each corner I've got a stick of this 2 3/8 drill casing, pipe casing, oil filled pipe, whatever you want to call it, and they're all sunk down 6 feet, and again they got about 500 pounds of concrete on each corner. This tower is stable. I've actually been up there on that platform with the wind blowing 30 miles an hour. And the tower, you can feel it in the tower. It wiggles a bit, but that's it. Outside of that little wiggle, it ain't going nowhere. So, worth considering if you can get one. Kind of hard if you don't have a lift and your turbine is heavy. So that's what I deal with towers. I still think that I'm kind of wishy-washy on it. I flip-flop around. After I set up the windmill tower over here, I thought that that was going to be the way I go forever. But actually, after having to get up there and work on that thing a few times, it's much better to have that turbine on the ground to work on, which makes this tower much better. So I'm pretty sure that the next tower I do is going to be just like that one. So, if nothing else, this gives me a video I can reference to people who are asking me how I'm setting up my towers. And yeah. So, guys, have a wonderful day. Stay warm. Thanks for watching.